Hey guys, Zoo here, back casting another game of Starcraft 2. We're going to have a Zerg vs Terran on Xel'Naga Caverns. It's going to be mTwDimaga versus SeleCT, the blue Terran. I do not, again, know very much about these players. Dimaga, though, is a very high-level Zerg player. I imagine if he's playing, if SeleCT is playing Dimaga, he's also a very high-ranked Terran. Taking a look at the map itself, this is Xel'Naga Caverns. As you'll see, very close expansion, very important thing to note is as you come to the opponent's base, there's two watchtowers with this very large chasm in the center. This chasm extends the rush distance. As you'll see, you have to go either around it this way and then turn up to the opponent's base, or go around it this way and again get up to the opponent's base, just making the rush distance a tiny bit longer to make this very small map a surprisingly long games. Surprisingly long games are played on this very small map. Mainly because I assume this chasm plays a very large role in the game. That, and you'll see these two choke points are very important, protected by rocks, and this also will play a major hand in a lot of games, is this back door. There's actually grass right here protecting it. And now we're going to take a look at how the players are performing. So far we see mainly just drones pumped out, up to 14 drones, still hasn't thrown on a gas, still hasn't thrown on a pool. I would imagine we're going to see some kind of early expansion, but only time will tell. And our Terran player, very interesting positioning already. If you take a look, he has his barracks outside of his base. I do not know if he wants to do this as a faster rush distance, and here we go. He's got it rallied over here, and our Zerg player did decide to expand. He was saving up his minerals for an expansion. Expanded on 15 or 16, and here we go. SCB in charge. I imagine a bunker would be placed, or some kind of wall off possibly, as we've seen with some of the other games I've casted. Jumping back, one Marine out, decides not to rally over there. Orbital command and gas, a very standard Terran play. And here we go. We'll see what this SCV decides to do following the SCV, and the spawning pool is just put down. Not good for our Zerg player. As you see, the spawning pool is only about 30% done, and here we go, pulling off 5 drones from mining. The bunker being laid down, and the SCV immediately running away, wisely deciding not to take any hits, and here comes the Marine. Our Zerg players get, look at this, more drones being pulled off the line. Our Terran player is really forcing the Zerg player into the corner, finally getting the SCV off. SCV gets away with his life, and there goes one drone. But look at the lost mining time as he chases down these Marines, trying to get us around, getting the Marine, getting another Marine, and one more Marine in the fray, and it doesn't look like this Marine's going to be doing anything. But look at how far these drones have traveled away from his base, jumping back to his base. As you see, only 5 drones mining this entire time, using these drones to add to his expo, just ignoring this bunker for now. And here comes another Marine, will not let Dimaga get any time, and the Zerglings are on the field. 4 Zerglings on the field, going to force our friend SeleCT to back up and go back home. And look at this, moving his barracks. He was doing this just to gain a very short additional rush distance. He's going to avoid having to take this around the edge. Very small difference, but it could make a huge difference. Factory going down, transitioning into a mech play, it seems. Punker just sitting there. Dimaga deciding to take his Zerglings up and see if he can poke and prod and annoy this Terran for the pain he suffered. But not a chance. This wall is going to be too much. And here we go. Reactor being put down. Jumping to the APM tab just to see what's going on here. Both players hit the 200s. Jumping to the units tab. 17 SCVs, the 20 drones. And oh no, he put down the wall. It's almost like he was inviting him in. Our Terran player. Oh no. Zerglings, now he's forced to take his SCVs off the line. Absolutely silly. Reactor almost done. The Zerglings cleaned up rather quickly. Jumping back, the bunker is still sitting here. SeleCT deciding not to cancel it. Queen finally hitting it. I assume we're going to see it cancel soon. I would hope so. Creep colony going down. Taking a look. Bunker was canceled. Taking a look. Spawning pool. Nothing else. Hasn't even started his lair yet in either position. Actually, taking a closer look, hasn't begun gas production at all. He's going to be playing this in a very queen-heavy manner. Very queen-heavy manner. Very Dimaga-esque play. He likes his macro. He likes his queens. He uses the creep colonies along with the transfusions to defend his base. And here come the Hellions. I think with just queens and creep tumors, I don't see any chance these Hellions are going to be able to do any damage. But we'll soon find out what's going to happen. Bring up the production tab to see what's going on at the same time. Still queens, and here comes the dropship, and these Hellions just scouting, actually, checking out both watchtowers. Wants to make sure Dimaga doesn't have any of those cheap Zerglings sitting there, just getting free sight. And here come 2 more Hellions, definitely producing reactor Hellions. preparing for his expansion. And look, perfect timing, deciding to throw down the tech lab and get a reactor on his barracks to get more Marines. I assume he's going to transition to some kind of siege tank Marine play, and here come the Hellions moving out onto the field. What? Running into the creep tumor, knows they're not going to be able to do, excuse me, running into the creep colony, not going to be able to do anything else. Queen, look at the Queen's positioning, absolutely genius by Dimaga. Will not allow those Hellions to get any way into his base. Has a Queen sitting at the ramp. Dimaga is airtight, and our friend SeleCT knows it. Has to back up. This is big for our Terran player because he's built these 4 Hellions, and these Hellions should do some work. And oh no, all that work Dimaga's put into preparing those walls. Here comes the dropship. Excuse me, picking up the Hellions, bringing them into the base. Oh, our Zerg player, we're going to see how he's going to react. Wisely has creep tumors already spread out, and here we go. Let's see if he can get any drones. Getting the drones in the green, but not killing any. Oh, there go 5 drones. 4, 5, 6. How many drones is he going to kill? There go another 2 or 3 more. Oh no. Oh no, Dimaga losing tons of drones. Is he going to lose any more? About to go down. No, he's not going to lose any more. No, wait, this Hellion's about to get this last drone. Is he going to get it? No, he doesn't get any more drones. Wow, that did huge damage. Take a look at the income tab. Now our Zerg player actually had a supremely large drone advantage. He was at 36 drones after the harass, now at 44 from creating more, versus our Terran's 28. Our Terran is just now establishing the expansion, throwing up a bunker for defense. Very wise decision. SCV transfer going on. He's going to need to bulk up his SCV numbers to be able to compete with our Zerg's macro. And Armory and Engineering Bay is soon to get some kind of Thor play onto the field or some kind of fast upgrades. Nothing being produced at the tech lab. Oh, here we go. Siege mode. Perfect timing. Siege tank being created. Double Marines. Jumping back to our production tab. Everything under the sun being produced for our Terran player, and only 2 Overlords and a layer being produced. And no, here comes a hatchery, 3rd hatchery in the expansion without actually taking an expansion. Very, very Korean play. You'll see Korean players concentrate on lower tier units, which are generally mineral heavy, very inexpensive, and you cannot afford to, you cannot create as many as you can afford without having the additional larva of this expansion, and it isn't always necessarily very easy to take a 3rd base. Look at this map. Taking your 3rd base is either this base, you have a cliff behind you, you have an unblocked ramp here. Taking this base, you're already into the center of the field, you're right next door to the Terran, going to be just as equally hard to steal. These right here, they are more or less islands. You put a base here and you are almost cut off from your own army. But Dimaga, look at this creep spread already taking over the map. As you can see, the bottom third of the map is already turning purple. Jumping back to our Terran player, mules being muley, bunker being filled up with units, and here we go. 2 more barracks just being added. Definitely going to be some kind of bio-army getting his upgrade for his army units, and quick upgrade for his mech units. Very wise decision. Siege tank, drop ships, and oh, here we go. Another very smart move. Look at SeleCT. He knows that this back door is here. He doesn't want anything running by and throwing up just 2 supply depots. Gonna need to build them anyway, building them in a perfect position to deal with any kind of backdooring by Zerglings. And he's still very undersaturated so far. Jumping back to the income tab, we have 1,500, 1,100, 54 harvesters versus 42 in favor of our Zerg player, and here we go, something interesting happening. Hydralisks. I would like to know the last time anyone has seen a Zerg player build Hydralisks versus a Terran since a long time. You could probably go back to Brood War, and that's the last time you're going to see that kind of play. I've heard about this play. It is a creep heavy. What you need to do is you need to expand this creep as far as possible to take advantage of your Hydralisk move speed. If you take a look right here, move speed is 2.25 plus 1.2. It's a lot of digits there, we know, but if you're going to take a look at a more normal unit like a Baneling, it's plus 0.75. Hydras gain more speed on creep than any other unit aside from the Queen getting the most, because as you know, people were beating people in the Bronze League with Queen rushes, and Blizzard couldn't have that. Queen's moving into position, I assume for some kind of transfusions. Dropship, just doing scout, nothing in that dropship. Very quiet on the home front. Zerg player not deciding to push this Terran. Wise decision with siege tanks sitting here. No siege tanks on the ledge. I assume he may decide to put a siege tank or 2 up there. At least I've seen a lot of people do it. It's very nice for getting early shots on these units, especially using that high ground advantage. As you'll know, in StarCraft 2, is a complete inability to hit the units without vision, not just a lower percent to connect. 3rd base finally going down, broke down his rocks. Wisest base to take, and oh, here we go, preparing for a 4th base, taking over this map with aggressive Zerg style macro. Medevac still searching around, hasn't found any expansions, but Dimaga is going to be in a very strong position soon if he's going to be able to get 4 bases up while the Terran is still macroing off of 2. Excuse me. Talking too fast, jumping back to the Harvesters tab. Terran player has finally begun to caught up in Harvesters 60 to 57. Macro just a hair in favor of our Terran player, only because of the mules. Otherwise, an extremely tight game. Our Zerg player needs to get this advantage, and he's just starting to saturate this base now. And here we go. Hydra Queen Army. Looks like they're just going to sit here to prepare to block any kind of ramp push by our Terran player. Terran player being very, very turtley, deciding not to do any kind of fancy dropship play. I can't blame him with Dimaga's creep spread. Dimaga's going to be able to respond to any problem within seconds, and now look at this. Our Zerg player is just saying this map is mine and you will like it. He has already passed the watchtowers. He has got probably 3/4 of the map purple. Our Zerg player is aggressively taking over this map, and our Terran player is doing nothing but sitting back and comfortably putting his feet up on 2 bases. I think he's going to be completely surprised when he decides to push out and sees that our Zerg player is nearly maxed with 4 bases operational. Taking a look at our original bases, still not very close to mined out. Bringing up the APM tab just because people would be curious. We have about 150 to 240. Nothing too exciting there. Bringing up the units tab, mainly Hydraless army with a couple banelings. 10 queens. Wow. 10 queens. I'll just let that rub in one more time. 10 queens. Absolutely amazing decision to add many queens, and here comes the Terran player pushing out. I think he's going to be very surprised with what he finds with the Zerg player. He probably knows there's some kind of Hydraless play, but he hasn't dealt with a lot. Nobody's built a Hydraless versus Terran just because of the way the siege tanks works. As you'll know, this is after 1.1, I believe. Double checking, yes. Doing 38 damage to non-armored units, scanning and taking away all Dimaga's hard work. And look at that, throwing up a... And here we go, battle has started. Hydraless coming in, and look at them making short work of those tanks. Not the tanks making short work of the Hydras. Complete change to the way the game used to be played. Queens do as much as they can. Look at those transfusions on those queens. Absolutely gorgeous by Dimaga. Taking down that last siege tank, and now the Bio Army forced to retreat. Zerg player cleaning up the remainder, and look at our Terran player. He's trying to do any harass, trying to get any scouting information, running on nothing but creep home ground. I assume he's doing some kind of scouting because he just double stemmed and didn't attack anything. Yes, just running out. He knows our Zerg player's taking the gold, and oh no, here comes this Zerg player pushing into the game, pushing into the Terran base. Terrans have nothing to do with this. Look at the Overlords producing creep, giving those Hydralists as much speed as possible. SCV's in the mix. Hydralists versus SCVs. SCV's going to go down. There's no way the SCV's going to take these Hydralists. I could be mistaken. Hydralists are like machine guns in this game. Completely different from the bread and butter unit they were in Brood War, and just barely holding on our Terran player, but oh no, here come the reinforcements, creep running them in there so quickly. I think our Terran player is just going to have to slowly watch his units burn, SCVs trying to repair the bunker. There's just nothing they're going to be able to do. Hydra's attack moving, just making short work of these units. Amazing play by Dimaga. I like this a lot. I hope we'll be able to see more Hydraless play in Zerg vs. Terran. It gives a new aspect instead of that standard old stereotypical Mutalists into Banelings. I like it a lot. Dimaga, props to you. This has been Tazoo. I hope you enjoyed the game. Thank you. Bye.